Hi friends, you are watching Info Nexus friends. As you all know that new superhero movies are released in Hollywood these days, all this is fake. But do you know how these fiction movies are made? Well, in today's video, I will show you the behind the scenes of famous Hollywood movies. So let's start our countdown. John Wick Chapter 3 is one of the most blockbuster movies of 2019. All the action scenes of this movie are amazing, but the most famous clip is the one in which John fights his enemy on a bike well. This scene looks so complicated that it took more effort to shoot it actually. This fight scene was recorded on a bridge in New York, and the more interesting thing, that this scene was shot at night in this. The hero and the stuntman were present on the bike, and it was a real fight scene to perform this action. The hero had to rehearse 4 times. But some actions were so hard that it was impossible to perform on a bridge. That's why that clip was shot with a green background in the studio. But these scenes were edited so skillfully that no one could have imagined that they would have been made in the studio. This is really amazing. Aquaman movie was made in 2018. This sci-fi movie is about a totally underwater world. Even in this movie, you get to see an entire underwater city that looks real well. Most of the parts of this movie were shot in the Atlantic Ocean. If we talk about the action scenes of the movie, it looks like this. As if this movie was shot in the water, but it wasn't like that. These scenes were shot in the studio with a blue background, but it wasn't an easy task. The characters of the movie were tied with wires and other equipment and flown in the air in addition. They were also made to fight mid-air in addition. The effect of underwater movement was also used during the shooting. Special helpers were taken for this work. These helpers wore blue suits and helped in the performance of the characters so that they looked like they were in the water after the shooting. The VFX team removed these blue personals and changed the background and put such effects in the scenes that it looked like everything was happening in the water. This is really incredible. If you are a fan of Spider-Man, then you must have seen his movie Spider-Man 2 well. If we talk about the villain of this movie, it was Dr. Octopus's role was played by the famous actor Molina. But it wasn't easy to get Octopus's get-up for this. You won't believe that. The 4 tentacles attached to his body were 8 feet long. And the weight of all 4 tentacles was more than 45 kg actually. These tentacles were made of rubber and metal. That's why they were very heavy. Not only that, but during the shooting, a person controlled each tentacle and moved them up and down so that they look like they're moving in. Real as long as the shooting was going on, Dr. Octopus and his 4 helpers were lifting the weight of these tentacles. Apart from this, a person was made to operate the tentacles of these tentacles during the scene. The person controlled these claws with the help of special equipment so that it looks like Dr. Octopus's brain is controlling them anyway. These fiction movies look so amazing that it is so difficult to make them. Avengers Endgame is one of the most blockbuster movies of Avengers. If you have seen this movie, then you must have seen this scene of Captain America, in which during time travel, Captain America fights with his own past actually. There was a stuntman with the hero during this fight, who was playing the role of a duplicate captain. The masked man you see is Daniel Hargrave, and with him, Captain America performed this fight action. But the funny thing is that in the scenes where Captain America's face is visible, there was no stuntman in this fight. In fact, only Chris performed this fight alone actually. Chris punched from one side first, and then he came to the other side and played the role of another Captain America. It means that there was no other Captain America here. In fact, only one person had done this fight after that. The VFX team mixed these 2 scenes together. Looking at this, it felt like 2 Captain America fighting each other. This is really unbelievable. If you have seen the Captain Marvel movie, then you must know in this movie, there are many scenes that are made completely through VFX. But in this movie, there is a scene where Captain Marvel climbs on the roof of the train and fights the enemy while 2 policemen are following him along with the train. It looks like a very complicated fight, but you will be surprised to know that the filmmakers used very few special effects to make this scene realistic. Actually, this fight was shot in Los Angeles, and the funny thing is that this fight scene was shot on the roof of many trains, not on one train. Another interesting thing is that where this fight scene was being shot, the car chasing scene was also being recorded on one side. The fight was going on, and on the other side, the shooting of the police car was being captured, although this chasing could have been edited by shooting at one place. But the directors recorded it separately to make the scene interesting so that the action could be made perfectly. But whatever it was, this scene was really amazing. Spider-Man Far From Home friends. The fight scenes of this amazing movie of Spider-Man were amazing. There is a scene in this movie where Spider-Man fights his enemy Mysterio on the London Tower Bridge. This is considered to be the most famous action scene of this movie, but you will be surprised to know that this fight was not shot on the London Tower, but in the studio, actually. This was a very complicated scene, and it was almost impossible to shoot it on the London Tower Bridge. That's why the filmmakers created a fake model of the entire London Tower and its surrounding areas in the studio. Even a green screen was added in many places, and then editing was done with the help of VFX, and London City was added in the background. But these fight scenes are so amazing that no one can even imagine that this is not real London. In fact, everything is fake, Justice League friends. If we talk about action movies, then in today's era, there must be some action movie that has not been made with the help of stuntman and VFX, but Justice League is a superhero movie in which VFX was added very little so that the scenes can be given a realistic look. Not a single stuntman's help was taken to make it well. The most famous scene of this movie is the one in which Justice League fights Superman. You will be surprised to know that this scene was shot when Superman and the Justice League team practiced fighting for 2 weeks in a row. This was a real-life fight that was recorded with a green background in the studio. The most interesting thing is that no stuntman's help was taken in this fight. In fact, the characters of the film were tied up and flow away. And then the mattress was used to save them from getting hurt in real life. This shooting looks very unusual, but then editing was done, and it was made so amazing that it is fun to watch. Anyway, whatever it was, this scene was really amazing. So guys, that's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on the Info Nexus. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.